It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. So, you would have seen from the title, I bought a $5 mechanical keyboard from Facebook Marketplace. And today, we're going to have a look at this $5 keyboard and figure if there was anything actually wrong with it, what we might be able to do to it to fix it. So, the backstory on this was that I was kind of cruising around on Facebook, just looking at stuff in general because, you know, like I'm just chilling out at home because my newborn baby was born just the other week, by the time that this video actually comes out, cruising around, and a recommendation came up on my Facebook Marketplace, and I saw a keyboard and it said selling for parts $10, and I thought, what? $10? That's absolutely amazing. So this is what it actually was, which was this thing here. It says selling for parts, mechanical keyboard, has a couple of keys malfunctioning, and it said $5. So I contacted the seller, they were nearby, and I said, I'm interested in the keyboard for $5. Are you happy to do that? Pick up, we'll meet up. And very next day, I met up with them and I paid the $5 and walked away with this keyboard. Now, I actually, in all honesty, still have not plugged this thing in. So I actually don't know what's potentially wrong with it, if anything at all. So I knew it was a Thermaltake because I could see the logo here, but I didn't really know what model it was. Now that I've actually got it and I've flipped it over and I've had a look at the back of it, it's a Poseidon ZX and it's the KB PZX KLBLUS01. So I went and looked it up, and essentially what it is this, a Poseidon ZX Blue Switch Edition. Now, I didn't know anything else on top of that except for what this website is telling me, which is 10 keyless, it's backlit, it's meant to have a 5-year warranty, which if you can crack 50 million keystrokes in 5 years, that's pretty impressive. Fairly standard, nothing too out there. What I do find really interesting is onboard fan device. No. How many keyboards have a fan on them? Why is it something that they feel like that they have to mention? I don't know. It's a little bit weird to me that you would mention specifically about onboard fans. No audio jacks? Okay, sure. I don't know a lot of keyboards that have audio throughputs. It's not detachable though. It does have some multimedia and there's no pass-through. So that's okay. Not too shabby. So let's plug it in and have a look at how it goes. So let's just... so here it is, upside down, because I was reading the actual model to bring that page up. And the picture actually showed that it was meant to have a switch puller and a little cardboard box. I actually think the cardboard box is probably the replacement for these, so it would be all black. But they didn't actually bring it when they turned up, and they didn't bring that little horrible plastic keycap puller, which is fine by me. I don't need another one of those. I've got plenty of those, and I wouldn't be using it anyway. It's got a good weight amount to it. It doesn't really have too much flex for it being a plastic case. One thing that kind of struck me as a bit weird was the fact that it has these cable routing options, but they go downwards. And I'm not sure if it's designed so you can wrap your cable around, or it's meant to help route your cable towards you. Or do you use it to shorten the cable length away from you? And what I mean by that is, if you were to route the cable through here somehow, because I was like, are these actually cable routes? Because the cable does fit very tightly, and then you can run the cable down, and then you can run it back up, and then, you know, away from you kind of thing. It's just very, very bizarre, but it puts a lot of stress on this cable because it's very fat and it barely fits into that groove, which is great for a cable run, but getting around that bend is probably not fantastic. It's got 2 flip out feet, and I can see a couple of sort of screw holes, just 2 there, that seem to be holding it together. So let's plug it in and see if the backlit comes up wherever the end of this thing is. It's meant to be a gold plate connector, so there it is. It's golden color with the Thermotake logo on it. Okay, it's blue. It glows blue. Fantastic. So, malfunctioning keys. What do they mean by malfunctioning keys? I've got switch header back on. Let's head over to the switch header side and let's check out which keys work, which keys do not. Okay, so there's this thing in the middle which I think might be a specialty function. Page up works. Okay, so B and Windows does not seem to work. Windows is not working. No, Windows and Control are functioning as one. So let's just show you there. So Control and Windows are both outputting to the same function, and letter B is doing nothing. Right, so a couple of keys malfunctioning. That's okay. We can kind of deal with that and see if we can get that resolved. Now, I figured this was probably a worthwhile investment only because at $5 in a 10 key list, that's 87 switches. And if these are genuine cherry blues, then $5 for 87 cherry blues would be a pretty good price. What I can see here is they're not cherry blues, they are kale MX blues. However, that said, at $5, now this is $5 Australian. Okay, so if I go 500 cents divided by 87 switches, assuming they all work and the problem's the PCB, that's just under 6 cents Australian per switch, which is still an absolute bargain if I want to salvage some switches just for the heck of it. So we've got some kale blues. I don't know if that one is the only one where it's got a weird punch out on the plate. So I'm not quite sure why that one's got that side profile punched out of it, just by chance. Let's have a look if there's any signs of spills near the B key, because that might be potential cause. Now the keycaps on these things, by the way, since I've just popped one off, very thin, typical gamer OEM type profile, nothing fantastic, very thin. That clear stuff with the black on top that they've laser etched for the shine through. And it looks pretty good, doesn't look like there's any spills. So it could be a corrosion related issue or just a bad solder joint. We won't fully know till we sort of get it apart. It's fairly clean for what I can see. There's a bit of dust around the WASD area. You can see it's a bit of grime there, but they've actually kept it quite clean for what it is. Obviously, I'll give it a proper clean later once I get into the nitty-gritties. And I guess I should probably have a look at what kind of stabilizers it's dealing with. And they are plate-mounted stabilizers. So, oh, just bumped the microphone there. Just some plate mount, cheap, generic stabilizers. Maybe I should just take the time now to do a sound test. Okay. So as far as that goes, it actually sounds pretty good for a clicky switch keyboard. Spacebar and the mods are a bit rattly, but that's kind of expected for a cheap build. Other than that, I think it has pretty good sounds, fairly reasonable sounds. Okay, so there's nothing under the feet for me to remove. It doesn't feel like there's any hidden screws under the actual feet. Generally, if you sort of press them, you can kind of feel if they flex a little bit for a screw hole. So hopefully these two screws will be enough to get inside and find out what's on. Is that a good size? That's a good size. There might be some screws on the other side from the plate side, but I'd have to take all the keycaps off and might not like doing that for the moment. We'll see how that goes. Well, it's definitely unscrewed. I can hear it, but it's not. Well, that wasn't good. Found it. You stay put. Okay. So, 2 screws. Is that enough for you to somehow come apart? No. I honestly don't know what that did. The cable's been pulled a bit because that retaining bit is holding it. Alright, that's very firm. Time to decap. It doesn't look like there's any screws on this side, so it might be a bit of a spudging issue, but we'll take them off for completeness anyway. It's a stepped caps lock, which is cool. A little bit dusty, but not too bad. I do wonder what's up with that, about having that footprint with slightly curved punch-ins. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any screws. A little bit dusty, a little bit of grime. Not like pet hair or stuff like that, so I'm kind of thankful for that. We'll give that a bit of a dust off as well, just in a moment. And then I'll vacuum up on the floor later. Come on, get in under there. Okay, so definitely no screws at all under there. So let's just free that up. Okay, all right, so plate looks like it's in pretty good condition. There's a little bit of spotting here, there's something kind of sticky over there, but otherwise it's okay. So how are we going to get inside you? This, I'm not really feeling any, that seam that they've got is really tight. It is flexing. There we go. So something popped there. Let me see what I've got over here I can use in my collection of expired things. Okay, mobile phone, SIM card. There we go. Oh yeah. Did you just pop back in? You just popped back in. Let's just get something to wedge that in there. Make sure that doesn't head back. Okay. Oh. All right, you stay there. You can sit there. Okay. I can hear people screaming probably somewhere about how rough I'm being with this thing right now. But to be honest, I think I'm being quite gentle with it compared to just throwing it on the ground and beating it to death with a hammer or something, even if I'm trying to get inside it. There we go. Got the top half off. Now, just to get the front. This front really does not want to cooperate. Not really any points that are flexing on the front here. damaged that screwdriver a bit. Next minute, gonna cut myself with a broken blade. Nope, that doesn't want to go either. What on earth have you people done with this design? Well, whatever it is, it's very, very solid. And it may be more screws, because it's not exposing anything. Is that? There's probably one in the middle there, under the label. You know what? I'm just going to snap that shell, that front shell back on, because it's obviously not showing anything. And let's give it a go on here. Is there something there? Nope. That's solid. I'm really stumped. There's nothing there, nothing there. Do I need to peel the feet up? I think this is going to be a complete destruction job, just to fix 2 switches. Ah, so they're off. It's going to be another 4 screws by the looks of it. More, maybe more. Is this what's holding me back? I hate hidden screws. I don't want to have to peel the feet because I don't have any replacement sticky stuff. Look at these people. How many screws do you need? Bit excessive, don't you think? The back doesn't need to be that secure. Is there going to be another 2 more? Nope. Well, that one's already going to lose its sticky. So maybe now it'll pop open. Doesn't. Just feels like a plastic spot there. No screw, I hope. Alright, let's try spudging this again. Start on this side. Wow, okay. So they were screwed into the front there. Woo! So that bottom row has 3 plus the 2 at the top. Wow. Okay, so if anybody's interested in cracking one of these Poseidon TTs open, That just helps you. So this keyboard was made in 2016. Well, sorry, this ABS shell was was fabricated in April 2016. So this is 4 years old now. You can tell because it's got the these fabrication marks there. So you see the arrow points to 16, so it's 2016, and then it's pointing to the 4, which indicates April. Okay, so that's free. Free. And I don't know if I've broken any of the tabs. I don't think I did. Dropped the foot though. How about we move you guys over there, and I'm got another one stuck to me. Okay, so we got a couple of screws hidden by the plate that probably is holding it to the back, so let's take care of those. Okay, 2 screws. Now we have liftoff. There we go. And let's have a look at this beauty from behind. Oh wow. Okay. That is really cool. So why I'm saying oh wow is look at that. It's actually using like a daughter board that's been flat soldered to the main PCB. So they haven't actually gone for a typical controller on here, but they've actually put on another one and essentially have just socketed it on, which is actually really cool. For other boards like the Philco Magistouch boards, I believe, or something like that, you can get like the Black Pegasus and other replacement controllers, and essentially this kind of works in that same way. It's actually a controller that they've just put on here that's doing a lot of the work, rather than it being like a single chip. So they've daughter boarded this design, which is really interesting. Now I can see that it looks like there may have been a spill on this. The reason why I say there may have been a spill is because there's this residue kind of stuff that you can see. So there's like shiny bits of it, and then there's like that, right? So you can see there's like residue there. So there may have actually been water damage or something like that. It doesn't look too bad because there's no real signs of corrosion. And whoa, okay, so the plate is hard fixed, and they've actually bent the through tabs in the hole. So see how it's twisted? So that's not really a good idea to try and remove the plate any other way, because you'd have to straighten that, and if the fatigue on that is going to be an issue, that's going to snap straight off. Yeah, like, so there may have been some water damage here, because you can see there's that whitish stuff, which is typically corrosion from water, which interestingly enough is not on this win key too bad. So there's some diodes here. So they've gone with surface mount ball cylindricals rather than the flat diodes, which is interesting. So the letter B, there you are. What is wrong with you, and why do you not work? So only those two that don't work. Everything else looks okay, and there's quite a bit of corrosion once again up around here. So if you see all this white stuff, that's like moisture residue corrosion from around that. Now I don't actually have any alcohol or flux with me to clean that off, but it doesn't look too bad, and I don't want to go messing with that if I don't have to. So multimeter time. If I can find my multimeter. Where have you gone? There you go. Let's go with some resistance first. Okay. First of all, let's test if the switch is still good. So right now, it's not actuating as expected. And then if I depress it, okay, so it's definitely so the switch is making contact, which is good, and then switch to diode is good, and then diode is good. Right, so not quite sure why that one's not working. Let's try the diode on the B. Okay, so the diode on the B is also working. And then switch to diode is also working. Maybe. Yeah, switch to diode's okay. Switch to column is okay. Where is that going? Problem with this is trying to figure out the matrix, which makes it really interesting. I don't know where they've taken it. Yeah. I think that might be my daughter. You've got it? Okay. Just my daughter went out with a friend for a bit of a play at the park. Yeah. I actually don't know where that's going. It doesn't seem to be corresponding to any of the other switches around it, so that might be part of the problem. Now if I go spacebar to Alt, that's not doing anything, but these guys are... What the heck? Have they duplexed this? Okay, let's just... so, pin to pin. Whoa! Oh, this matrix is amazing. So I'm just looking at these non-diode. I'm going to call the diode ones the rows because that's my traditional terminology. But you'll see. So this one here, which is the tab, has a trace which follows it all the way around, and then it goes up to here. So there to there has a reading, but then in that same positioning it doesn't read there or read there, read there or read there. So if I go from here, will it read there? Wow, this is insane. How I don't know how they've actually built this matrix. Okay, so just having a look at the time now, we've spent 35 minutes having a look at it, having a crack open of this, and I'm currently stumped because I would have to map this out quite extensively to find how they've actually designed this, because it's defying conventional community designed keyboard practices. Okay, so I've got that to that to that, right? And then should it go here? Or is it going to go here? It goes there. Okay, so I've got some kind of bouncing column here, but then where else does it go? So, I'm going to cut the video here, and because my daughter's back now, I thought it was going to be a little bit quicker and easier if it was just some light damage, but it doesn't seem to be that easy a diagnosis. I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to put a matrix together, I hope, and then we can see if I can figure out where it should go so I can wire jump it that will enable me to get a result for this keyboard and also fix this $5. Now, of course, if I spend a lot of time on it, I'm doing it just for the sake of learning how I'm doing this and how do I diagnose it and making sure my processes are correct. I would probably not advise you to do the same thing, because for $5 I just desolder all these switches, even if they're Kale Blues, and then potentially recycle or upcycle the rest of this for a hand-wired or custom build, or get a new PCB, because you can get aftermarket 10 keyless PCBs potentially, and then convert this into something else. In any case, let's wrap it here for part 1. Thanks for checking out this video. Didn't know that it was going to turn out to be like this, and hopefully when I got a bit of time, newborn baby and family and everything else, I'll be able to fully map this out, and then we'll see a part 2 on this $5 thermal take keyboard. Well, that's it. Thanks for coming along, and of course, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.